YouTube, and welcome back to another tutorial by Big Al's Barber channel. Hey guys, if you guys are new to our channel, I welcome you and I encourage you guys to subscribe and get on board with this team. What we're going to do today, guys, is we're going to do a simple number one on top, number one, that's a metal number one on top with a zero fade, no shave, and we're going to clean up his facial hair and just line them all up. So what we're using right here, guys, we're going to get started right away. We're starting off with our Oster octane, and we're using a number one blade, the number one, guys, and we're just basically just going all over the top, just evening it all out, making sure that it's all nice and even. It's not essential that you worry about the sides right here. We're just kind of worried about the top and making sure that everything is nice and even. It's not important not to go against the grain. You can go against the grain, so it's just basically it's all nice and even. This is probably the tightest haircut that you can do on anybody, other than a half on top. But usually this is pretty much as tight as it goes. It's a number one on top. If you guys are new to my videos, let me explain something, guys. When I do fades, if I cut the top first, it's because I'm using a clip or a machine, okay? If I cut the top last, it's because I am cutting with scissors. So keep that in mind, guys. So that's why we're doing the top first on this video. In other videos, you always see me do the top last, is because if I'm using scissors and I go last, if I'm using the machine, I go first. So it wouldn't matter if it was a 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8 up on top. I would do the machine first and then do the side second. Now, you guys could tell I didn't do the number one all the way around. I'm just kind of just doing it around the sides, around the top, and around the parietal ridge. Right here, I'm just gonna kind of clean it up real quick. That way, you know, just kind of get the hair out of the way. That way, when I start doing my fade and doing my first guideline, there'll be a clean, nice surface right there. You know, it's always good to keep your canvas clean, guys. I always tell my youngster barbers that you know, your haircut is your canvas, so it's good to keep it looking good and keep it clean. For that way, when you do your fades, you'll have no hair there, no you know, anything in the way. Just keep your canvas clean. So right here, I'm moving along quickly. I'm just using the number one again. The number one, guys, when you do a number one fade on top, remember there's going to be no clips involved. You're basically going to fade out the sides with a half, and you're going to move your way up from the half all the way to the one, because a half blends into the one. Remember that. So there's nothing in between. I mean, I know there's a 1A in between, but we're just going to use the one all the way around and just clean it all up. The 1A is actually higher than the 1, so that's why we're not even using the 1A. The 1A comes after the 1, so we're just using the 1. Always keep your blow dryer handy, guys. If you guys, you know, a blow dryer is not just used for blow drying hair. It's used to blow the hair away. It's a great machine, especially if you use one of these twin turbo machine blow dryers. They have a lot of power to blow the hair out of your canvas. So this guy wanted a number one on top, and he's gonna do a low zero. Normally, if you do a number one, I would suggest doing a high fade, but this gentleman wanted a low fade, so that's why you can see I'm trying to keep it low to the ear. I'm not gonna go very high with it. He's also going to keep his beard. We're going to hit the beard with a number one also. So we're just right now just moving everything out of the way. And what I'm using right there is I'm using my Wahl balder, and what I do is I turn it upside down and I'm creating that first guideline. As you can see, I'm just going right above the second roll right there and just keeping it above that. Still trying to keep it pretty low though, not going too high. If you guys aren't up to game on these balders, guys, you guys can see the balder takes everything down. It pretty much leaves it all nice and smooth. If you use the balder, what you're doing is you're eliminating having to use your trimmer to create that guideline. And as you guys know, when you guys use a trimmer to save on that, to create that first guideline, you'll waste away your trimmers. Your trimmers won't last as long as they normally do. So if you guys aren't up on game on this, I suggest you guys get yourself a balder. It'll save you a lot of time, and in the long run, it'll save you some money. It's a great tip, guys. A balder is only 40 bucks. There's a link below if you guys don't have one. So right here, we're gonna move on to the fade now, and what I'm using is I'm using the new Babyliss GT. The Babyliss Gold FX, And basically with the lever open, I'm going to take it all the way to the top, all the way up to the top of the parietal ridge, right to the top of the parietal ridge. Now without really going in, you guys can see it kind of already starts blending out. So now you're just with the lever open, that's a half, taking it all the way up. And this is the reason why that normally when they get a number 1, you do a high fade instead of a low fade. But this gentleman, like I said, he wanted a low fade, so we're doing a low fade. So once I went all the way to the parietal ridge, all the way to the top, what I did is I lowered my lever a quarter of the way, or notch on this machine. And basically I'm going all the way up to the same spot, just a little bit lower, not as low. So right there I dropped it another notch, and now I'm just going to go halfway to the middle. And it's pretty much just blending out. Stay below the spot where I just went right now, just basically scraping and pulling up, trying to blend up that bottom line. Remember guys, there's no clips involved when you do this fade, and the reason why is because a half blends into number 1. So right there, all I'm doing is like, now I have my lever completely closed, and I'm basically just trying to fade out that bottom line. But as you can see, I'm having a little bit of trouble with that bottom line, and sometimes, you know, that bottom line does not come up with a 0 all the way. So what you gotta do now is you grab your trimmer here, put on the bottom, and you scrape up, and as soon as you pass the line, you're gonna pull up. You don't want to just stop the blade there, because if you just stop it, you're going to create another shadow line, and that shadow line is even harder to get out. So I'm just letting you guys know right now, when you go in with your trimmer, you have to pull up. Now when you pull up, you can see the bottom line erase, but where you pulled up, you created another little shadow right there. That's a little secondary shadow right there. Now that secondary shadow, you're going to go back and you're going to rub that out again with your, and what I did here, guys, is, and I did this is because, sometimes when I'm struggling a little bit with a machine, like right there, I was struggling a little bit to get that line out. What I did is I swapped over to a different machine, and what I'm using now is I swapped over and I'm using the 1919. Guys, if you guys don't know the difference between the 1919 and the Gold FX, there's videos out there you guys can tell, but pretty much it's the same machine, just a different maker, different model. But I can already tell that the fade's coming along, so I'm just gonna push it up, basically with my lever maybe a quarter of the way up, and I'm just pushing up at that shadow, just pushing up, blending it in. I think I remember when I was doing this haircut, I was thinking to myself, man, I should just did it with this machine, because sometimes some machines, that's the beauty of cutting hair with different machines, guys, is that sometimes when you start a haircut and the haircut's not coming out like you want it, you swap over to another machine. And that's the reason why I use 3 different machines. I basically use the Gold FX, I use the 1919, and I use my Wahl black Cordless. So right there, we're pretty much done with that section now. So we're going to move on to the next section. And what we're doing right here is, again, we're going to the back of the head. As you guys know, or for you guys that are new to my channel, when I fade in 3 sections, guys. I don't fade all the way around the head. You'll never see me go all the way around. What I do is I fade in 3 sections. I fade on the right side of the head, then the back side of the head, and then I go to the other side of the head. So right here, I'm just doing the same thing. I'm using like 1919, and I'm going to go. And here I just switched my camera, but basically to get a better view. But what I'm doing is just going up with a 19 all the way up to the parietal ridge again. No clips involved. Remember, it's a number 1 on top. When you're fading out from a number 1, there's gonna be no clips involved. There's no need of a half clip. There's no need for a number 1 clip, because you already started with a number 1 on top. So everything has to come below that. So as I go across with the half open, I lower my lever a quarter of the way, and I'm basically going up just a little bit, not as high. Going across, just scraping that bottom line. As I go across, I lower my lever another quarter way, and same thing again. I'm just scraping that bottom line, starting from the bottom, and I'm scraping up to the spot where I want my fade to end right there. And when I get to that spot, I pull up. Never just stopping, guys. You don't want to just stop, because that creates more shadows. So right there, I have my lever completely closed, and basically I'm just focusing on that bottom line, that bottom shadow, just trying to scrape it up. As you can see, it's almost up, but it's just a little bit there right now. There, I lower my lever a quarter all the way open again, and I'm just focusing because I saw a shadow up higher, and I'm just basically trying to fade out that bottom line. As you can see, the 1919 actually gets it out a lot better than the Gold FX. With ethnic hair, or should I say black hair, you know, sometimes it's a little bit harder, more trickier, guys. You just gotta find your way of doing it, and when you find that way of doing it, you just run with it. But I find it with black hair, it's a lot easier to fade with Osters, guys. Just that's my opinion, you know. But the bottom line, you always have to use a machine, and that's why on this one, you know, you're not using the machine on the sides of the head, because you already did a number one. If you had a 1.5 on top, then I'd be using the Oster on the sides, if that makes any sense. So right there, I'm just fading out the line, guys, just cleaning it all up. Now we go to the next side. Again, when I fade in 3 sections. I never fade all the way around, guys. I fade in one side, back side, now the next side. So again, lever open, it's only a half, and I'm going to go all the way up to the parietal ridge. Super simple fade right here, guys. Super simple. Some people make this fade so hard because they're trying to use clips and they get lost in matter. You know, you just got to know your clip system. When you learn your clip system, you will progress in fading. It's a matter of knowing what the next clip. You always got to know what the next step is. Remember, fading is like having a game plan. If you don't have a game plan, you're gonna get lost. You know, you have to know what step comes next. What's the next action gonna be? That way you can erase that shadow or that line. You know, fading basically is creating lines and erasing lines. You're gonna create shadows and erase shadows, so that all blends in and looks nice and even. So right here, I'm just basically going in with my machine. Again, no clip, just working my machine. Start off with the lever open, and I work my way down. As I go down, as I work my way down, I close my lever until I'm completely closed. Once I'm completely closed and I can't get no more line up, then I come in with my trimmer, as I'm showing you right here, and I'm basically just dragging it and erasing that bottom line. It's a 1 on top and a half on the sides, basically. In half, you're fading out that half to a 0. Simple fade, guys. In real time, this haircut took me like 20 minutes, and I included the beard trim with it. You know, lately what I've been doing with beard trims, you know, because we charge extra $5 for beard trim. So lately, when I get a beard trim, you know, what I do is sometimes if the customer's that doesn't want a beard trim, I'll just do it for free, just so that they get a taste of what it's like to get a beard trim. Because some people, they just never gotten a beard trim, or they don't want to pay for a beard trim, or you know, they're trying to go the easy way with it. So you know, I just try to stay with it. And this guy right here just came in and interrupted my video. It's funny. He's one of our local transient guys. He's actually a good friend of mine I grew up with, but he's right here hanging in on the video. Came in to ask for a haircut. So right here, I'm just using the 1.5, and I'm just basically blending it out right here, guys. Just number 1, 1.5, and I'm just taking it all down nice and even. And what I'm gonna do is just line it all up, make it look nice and clean. Like I said, I didn't charge them for this. I just did it on the gratis this day. But you know, sometimes I do that because there's certain gentlemen that'll come in and they'll get beard trims all the time. So once in a while, I'll throw it in for free, just like to help out and toss a bone to the customer, to the client, and it makes him feel like he's getting something free too. So you know, that's how you build relationships with your customers. Sometimes you gotta hook them up a little bit. So once I get it all down to the 1.5 all the way around on the beard, what I'm gonna do is just line it up. And what I do is I start off right there, and he likes a chin strap, so I'm just getting it nice and tight, going right on the edge of the beard. Real simple. Like I said, this gentleman does not like any kind of machine or any kind of razor, so this is basically a simple fade. No straight razor, no shave at all, just down only with a trimmer. The reason why he doesn't like using razor is because he says that he gets razor bumps. So I don't know, a lot of black people, they don't like razors, and that's the reason why is because they tend to break out or they get into bumps, which are razor bumps. So you know, some people, they just don't like the razor at all. So he happens to be one of them. So you know, to me, it makes the job easier because now I don't got to go in and shave it. Although I prefer that he use a razor because I just feel that it comes out better, comes out nicer and cleaner. So right here, I just now I'm gonna do the other side, just basically just lining up the same thing, just cleaning it all up with a 1.5 first. Once I'm done with that, I'm just gonna line it all up again with my GTX trimmer. Guys, if you guys like any of these machines, or you guys are interested in purchasing any of these machines that I mentioned in this video, I have listed all the machines, all the products, everything that I use, I always list in my description. So if you guys want to purchase those items, feel free to do it. It'll get delivered right to your house from Amazon. The GTX trimmer right here is modified. I also have a video on how to modify your skeletonized trimmer. So if you guys in case you guys want to get your trimmer that looks like this, you have to modify it yourself. But it's a simple process, very easy. So right here, I'm doing the beard again, beard, mustache, the top of the mustache, just lining them all up. Getting them to look good and feel good. That's what we do. That's what barbers do. You know, you get your customer in there and you clean them up, make him look good, so that way he walks out feeling good. If you do that, your customers will always return to you. So right here, I'm just using the GTX, just basically just clean up all the little hairs. Like I said, this gentleman does not like any type of razor, so we're not gonna razor him. We're just gonna go with a nice tight fade, and that's it. So right here, what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna clean up the front. And we're just gonna do is line it up. And as always, in case you guys are new to my videos, when I line somebody up, I do not line them up all the way across. I do only one side, one corner. And once I do one corner, I'll turn them around and I'll focus on the other corner. The reason why I do it this way is this is the way I was taught. And the way you're taught is usually the way you'll hang in there and you continue to do things. Remember, the option of doing a nice lineup is make sure you get that 90-degree angle on that corner. 90-degree angle. Again, I do one side first, then I'm gonna spin them around, turn them around, and I'll do the other side. Now I spun them around right here, and I'm just working on the other corner. And again, I always start in the middle and work my way towards the corner. Once I get to the corner, then I'm going to flip my machine vertically, and I'm going to do the other side. At this point, guys, this haircut is pretty much done. That's all there is to it. I mean, like I said, there's no shave. He doesn't like any straight razor whatsoever, not even on the lineup. So basically what we do is just a one on top, half fade on the sides. Was a zero fade on the sides, but you know we're fading it out with a half only. So it was probably the most simplest fade that you can get. The trick is not to make it too difficult and just stay in your lane. If you stay in your lane, you'll get through this haircut very simple. Just cleaning them all up. Again, guys, remember, Big Al's Barber Channel is here to educate and motivate. If you guys have any problems, any questions, if you have any problems with your fades or something, just drop me a line and maybe I can help you guys out. Also, you guys can DM me on my social media through Instagram at _big_Ls_barbershop. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Grind on.